In this video, we are going to talk about limits of rational functions. So we have f of x by g of x and we have to apply the limit infinity or minus infinity. So to solve the limits of the rational functions problem, what we shall do is we will keep the highest degree term in numerator and highest degree term in denominator. After doing that, we will simplify the expression and then apply the limit. Remember that this is only done for the cases when limit is being calculated at infinity or minus infinity. So it's the limit at infinity and the rational function here is 3x plus 5 divided by 6x minus 8. As it is stated before that we will keep the highest degree term in numerator. Now we can see that the numerator has two terms. On one term the power on x is 1 and another term the power on x is 0. X to power 0 is 1. So the highest degree term here is 3x. So we will keep the highest degree term in numerator divided by the highest degree term in denominator, which is 6x. In denominator we have x to power 1 term, this term, and x to power 0 term, which is the constant. So we kept the highest degree term, which is 6x. After keeping the highest degree terms in numerator and denominator, we will simplify. We will not apply the limit immediately. So when we do simplification, so x cancels out with x and we have x approaches 2 plus infinity 3 by 6, which is x approaches 2 plus infinity 1 by 2. And we know that limit of a constant function is constant, so we get a constant 1 by 2. That's how we solve these kind of questions. Let's look at another question. This time we have to find the limit when x is approaching to minus infinity for the rational function 4x square minus x divided by 2x cube minus 5. Again, you keep the highest degree term in numerator and highest degree term in denominator, but only in the case when the limit is being calculated at infinity or minus infinity. If in the place of minus infinity we would have a number, then we will not attempt this question by this method. So this method where we keep the highest degree term in numerator and highest degree term in denominator is only applicable in the cases when the limit is calculated at infinity or minus infinity. So let's attempt this question. Since the limit is at minus infinity, so we will keep the highest degree term in numerator. 4x square is the highest degree term divided by the highest degree term in denominator is 2x cube. After keeping the highest degree terms, we will simplify 2 over x. After simplification, we will apply the limit. When we apply the limit, we get 2 over minus infinity. Minus is out, 2 over infinity. So 2 by infinity is 0 because infinity is a huge number. Any number divided by a huge number is 0. Minus 0 is 0. So this is how we solve these type of questions. Let's attempt another question. We are finding the limit when x is approaching 2 plus infinity for the function 5x cube minus 2x square plus 1 whole divided by 1 minus 3x. Since again the limit is calculated at plus infinity, so we will keep the highest degree term in numerator and highest degree term in denominator. The highest degree term in numerator is cubic term, so we'll keep 5x cube divided by highest degree term in denominator is minus 3x. Remember that you have to keep the sign also. Here the sign was minus, so we have kept it. And now we will simplify. So in numerator we have 5x square and in denominator we have minus 3. When we apply the limit, we have minus 5 by 3 infinity square. So infinity square is infinity minus 5 by 3 into infinity. So any number by infinity is again infinity along with the minus sign. Let's look at another question. Limit at minus infinity for the function minus 5x cube minus 2x square minus 1 whole divided by minus 3x plus 1. So we will keep the highest degree term in numerator and highest degree term in denominator. So numerator gives us minus 5x cube divided by minus 3x. After simplification, we get minus minus cancels out and we have 5 over 3 x square. Now when we apply the limit, we get 5 by 3 infinity square gives us 5 by 3 into infinity, which is infinity. Any number multiplied by infinity is infinity. So this is how we find the limit of the rational functions at infinity or minus infinity. Now let's talk about what if we have to find the limit at infinity or minus infinity for some polynomial. So let's look at a question. Let's say you have to find the limit when x is approaching to plus infinity for a polynomial which is x cubed plus x plus 1. So in this case, we will again keep the highest degree term only. We know that in this polynomial, there are three terms. One is x cube, x and 1. 1 could also be written as 1 into x to power 0 because x to power 0 is 1. 1 into 1 is 1. So we have three terms and the highest degree term is x cube. And the limit is calculated at plus infinity. So just like in the rational functions when we were finding the limit at infinity or minus infinity, in the case of the polynomial, we will only keep the highest degree term and here the highest degree term is x cube and limit at plus infinity. And now after keeping the highest degree term, we will apply the limit which gives us infinity cube, which is just infinity. So why we are keeping the highest degree term only? Because we know that end behavior of a polynomial matches the end behavior of its highest degree term. So the highest degree term is x cube. Whenever we plug infinity, so let's say here we get infinity cube and then we get infinity and then we get plus 1. But we know that 1 is a very small number as compared to infinity and 1 is a very small number as compared to infinity cube. So 1 does not matter here. And also look at infinity and infinity cube. Infinity is a smaller number as compared to infinity cube. So infinity cube plus infinity plus 1. So highest impacting term here is infinity cube. So for this reason, we are only keeping the highest degree term in a polynomial whenever we are calculating the limit at infinity or minus infinity. Let's look at another question. So we have to find the limit when x is approaching to plus infinity for a function. You can see that this is the limit at plus infinity question and limit is calculated at the polynomial, which is this. So in this question, like before, we will only keep the highest degree term. Here the highest degree term is the cubic term along with its sign minus x cube. We have kept the highest degree term only because it's a polynomial and the limit is being calculated at plus infinity. So when we apply the limit infinity cube, this gives us minus infinity cube is infinity and minus infinity is just minus infinity. So this is how we attempt these kind of questions where we have to find the limit at infinity or minus infinity of a polynomial. Let's attempt another question where limit is being calculated at minus infinity for a polynomial x to power 7 minus x to power 9 plus 1. So again we will only keep the highest degree term. Limit is being calculated at minus infinity and it's a polynomial. So highest degree term here is minus x to power 9. And then we will apply the limit minus infinity to power 9. So 9 times minus sign multiplication gives us minus. So we have minus into minus infinity which gives us plus infinity.